How's it going, everybody? My name is Will. A while back I decided to buy a project car just to fix up and have something to do, and I landed on a 1990 Mazda Miata that I found off Marketplace. It was originally listed for $2,700. I figured I could get that down to around $2,000. Ended up landing on $2,100. It had about 170,000 miles on it and was a hardtop. If it wasn't a hardtop, I probably would have paid a lot less for it. Over the next couple months, I'm going to be restoring it because it needs a lot of work. And every video I'm going to be going over the budget that I started with and the budget that I actually ended up spending on the car. I would also like to add that I am by no means a professional. I've spent most of my time working on my MR2 here. I have worked on a buddy's Miata that has had loads of problems since he got it, but somewhere along the way I was like, you know what, I fixed almost everything on this car with you. I might as well just get my own now that I know how to work on one. So that's what I did. Just going over everything that works and doesn't work and everything that's missing. We got a glove box. We'll need a radio. That panel under the steering wheel. We're gonna need the back carpet, which I plan to replace since there's a lot of water in the current ones. You can see on the seat there. Other than the water stains, the seat actually looks pretty nice. That one does too. Gonna need a door card. This window is also broken, but the actuator works. It just seems like the cable's out of line. Took the hardtop off because, like I said, the window was broken and a bunch of water got in the car, so I took that off to try to dry some of that out. Under the hood, I was told by the owner that the water pump was broken and the power steering was also broken. And then I see that missing bracket, and look at that. The accessory belt is also just completely not there. Alternator belt is there, however. Other than that, whole interior seems good. Don't see any coolant in there. The water pump leaking or something else that was leaking. Threw all that coolant out, so there's nothing there anymore. So we got the trunk latch open to the Miata. We found a battery, whatever that is, just all this stuff. A very nice jump box, another battery, spring, a bunch of parts, but they're all to a Volkswagen for some reason. And genuinely, if anyone knows what this is or what it does, can you please let me know? Okay, so the main things I want to tackle today is fixing the window regulator. That is my biggest priority because I want to be able to store the car outside. The hardtop doesn't leak from anywhere except for where the window's broken, so that's top priority right now. Next, I want to put on a serpentine belt. That way we can get the power steering working and potentially the AC. Next thing is to also tighten the AC compressor so that the serpentine belt can actually stay on there. First, we're going to be starting with getting the window regulator fixed. From this window being stuck in the downward position from so long, there was some tape over it, but it caused a lot of mold and stuff in the car, especially under the seat, and also some rust. You can see that's pretty rusted. The other side is not that bad. I'm trying to get the window regulator back on track, and I finally figured out the cables here. So this one here runs down and it's supposed to be clipped into there like that. It runs down here, and this little bit right here is for holding the end of this gray part of the cable, and then it goes back around to the part that actually moves the window. Slip it in through that bit there, and then pull the wire this way. So the little tip of the wire is that bit right there. And for the top, I think this is what caused the window to become broken before, or not broken, but slide off the rails, is this little bit holds this gray piece just like that, but it was all wobbly and it just slipped off. So what I did was just took a piece of duct tape and slipped it over that little tab and then put the white piece on. It is pretty sturdy now. Just ran into another problem. After this, I was trying to get the wires to both connect right here, and the top one wasn't long enough. So I took this piece off the motor right here and I pulled this out. I realized all of that is not supposed to be in there, because if you look at the sides, got one little secure point right there, and the other one's supposed to go right there. I knocked this one out when I took apart the motor. There we go, and it just sprung back to its original shape. So yeah, that's where the rest of the wire went. It was caught up in this thing. Thank you, Miata, for putting your window controls in the middle. Other than that, works good. And I figured while I had this out, it's got grease on there, but it's pretty dirty. I'm gonna take white lithium grease. Got this, I think it was about 10 bucks at Advanced Auto Parts. And I'm just gonna put a line on there. We got it wrapped around a little spool in there. Got it hooked up here, all good, nice and tight. Both the little gray pieces are in their little homes there and there. So, but we have a bunch of slack right here. I'm assuming that some of that is supposed to go back into that little wheel. And I tried twisting it around by hand, but it didn't really work. So I just put it in there and I'm gonna hit the motor and see if that gets rid of this extra slack. Because once it gets to these and these press up, just like that, it should stop it. So I've got the actuator in my hand here. And to try to take up the slack, I'm just gonna push the button. It might work and spool it right back into here as it should, or it might just make like a crunching sound and I'll immediately stop. Speaking of which, between gear-driven and cable-driven systems, cable-driven is simple, but when it breaks, it's broken and you usually end up with a frayed wire or a broken wire or something like that, and you gotta replace the whole thing. Geared systems, they're better. They last longer, they're usually faster. Last time I dealt with a cable was on a 2014 Volkswagen Jetta. It did not end well. Here goes nothing. Alright, they're going in. Okay, this one went in good. Other one is almost there. Gonna have to figure something else out. Alexa, what time is it?
It's 5:40 a.m.
Took a while, but I finally got it on. Literally, Murphy's Law. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. First of all, focus. The little silver caps that were on the end here just took up space and I could not get this on. So I took a Dremel and just cut them off this side, and I cut all but one of them off on this side. And then this little plastic piece just slides off. I was able to get the wire on there, pull it up with all my strength, snap it in there, slide it to the right. It's tight, but not too tight like it's supposed to be. This little piece broke. You can barely see it. This one here is good. This one on this side broke, so I ended up taking a butt connector, cutting just the metal piece off and crimping it on there. Seems to be holding pretty well. If it breaks, I'll probably just burn the car down or something. Right, time to test the window actuator. And for the part that I always forget, still need to add a little bit of white lithium grease. Right now, I don't see any signs that there was ever grease on it. I mean, the tracks are completely dry. I didn't ask the owner exactly how long the window was broken for. I'd say based off the signs in the car, at least 2 months, which I was told that the last time it was daily driven about a month ago. The water pump that's broken, it leaked an entire bottle of coolant all over the floor without even me running the car. But in this car, it's right on the front of the engine, super easy to get to. So I'm gonna be doing that myself. I don't think that should be greased up enough. Give our soapy water a try, see if that does any good. The previous owner of this car decided to hold the window up with duct tape, which clearly didn't work. So I'm currently trying to get the duct tape residue off. I tried a bunch of different stuff, and what ended up working was Goo Gone. And one last thing to put on, see these little stopper bits? There's 2 of them, and they were already off the car when I bought it, but I'm going to assume they go here and right here. I didn't realize this before I started doing it, but these door stops, you can see it in there, that is oriented downwards. So the little black tab should face down at an angle like that, not upwards like you would think it'd be, because that's how it stops the window. And with that, we have it perfectly aligned. And we did it. We now have a perfectly working window, and only spent $11 on it with those little bushings from Amazon. I don't have a door card yet. The car didn't come with one. I'm gonna have to get an aftermarket one. Now moving on to installing a serpentine belt and securing the AC compressor. So today's goal is to try to get the car running at least to the end of my road and back. I'm not 100% sure it needs a water pump. The lady I bought it from said it did, and I do see it leaking under the car, but also there's no serpentine belt on it. So I'm gonna put that in, fill it up with cheap coolant because it'll probably throw it all up anyway. But first, the air intake. Okay, so the radiator hose has to come off as well to get the intake out. It is bone dry in that coolant hose. So yeah, I think we're definitely looking at a broken water pump. I'm not gonna put a cold air intake on this car though, since I do plan on reselling it, and I want to try to keep as few modifications as possible on it. I might put some new struts in. I don't think I'm gonna bother with bushings. Car already runs pretty good. All right, just went to O'Reilly's. I think they gave me the right belt. It's the right width. It's a lot smaller than the wrong one I have, and it's also just a little bit bigger, so I think it should fit. Not only did we decide to leak every last drop of coolant out, there's another puddle back there, and I don't know what that is. I hope it's just oil, because it looks like it's coming from the transmission. Well, our AC compressor pulley is still wobbly, and it's missing a bolt, but a hardware store wanted 15 bucks for the bolt to fix it, and it was a lag bolt. It wasn't a normal one. So I'm gonna turn to old reliable 3 zip ties tied together. Also, it looks like this puddle right here isn't anything big. Looks like there's a little seal on the drain plug that you can see moving around there. So that might just need to be tightened, but that's what's leaking. Just got our water pump kit in. New water pump, nice and shiny. And this feels like aluminum as well. Like, this is very light. Here we got the gasket for it. Whatever that is, I'll find out as we go. And then it looks like, yeah, all 3 gaskets for it. We have our new timing belt. And by the way, this is an $80 kit off of Parts Geek. Typically, I try to shy away from Parts Geek, but since this is kind of a budget car, we're gonna let it slide. Belt also feels good quality. We're gonna go ahead and replace that while we're at it. Try to get all the weak points of the car taken care of. This is our valve cover gasket. This is a very weird thing for me to say, but for some reason, this thing smells like weed. Maybe it's like a plant smell. Here's our tensioner. I do not see a spring with the tensioner, which is a little bit concerning. Yep, no spring in there. For cheap parts, all this stuff feels pretty good. Like, the bearings feel good. The metal is good quality. This one's actually metal. The water pump itself is definitely aluminum though. I'm gonna comb through all this again. Ah, there it is. They just threw it in the bottom of the box. There is our timing belt tensioner spring. All right, so everything is here. I'm gonna say this is a pretty good deal for 80 bucks. Hopefully I don't put it in and it just doesn't work worth the crap or goes out in like a week. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started. For today, we ended up spending $10 on our window bushing kit from Amazon. We spent $12 on our serpentine belt from O'Reilly's, and then we spent $83 on our water pump and timing belt kit from Parts Geek. In the next video, we will be installing the water pump kit and getting this thing back on the road.